local news, including a Stratford man arrested with a rifle outside of a liquor store on Saturday, a car burglary suspect charged in New Canaan, and much more. Frank Granito will have your Nutmeg Sports Update following a busy Super Saturday in the FCAC. He'll also take a look at the forecast. And Donald Lang joins us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, a man accused of threatening another man with a rifle outside of a Barnum Avenue liquor store in Stratford was arrested on Saturday by police. 45-year-old Brian Torres was charged with first-degree threatening, first-degree reckless endangerment, criminal possession of a firearm, and possession of weapons in a motor vehicle, among several other charges. Now, Stratford officers responded just after noon Saturday to Barnum Discount Liquors for a report of a Hispanic man in the parking lot carrying a rifle and making threats. Now, police said Torres and another man were engaged in an argument, and police said Torres punched the other man before going to his vehicle, pulling out an unloaded .22 caliber rifle, pointing it at the other man, and he threatened to, quote, blow his head off. Now, police had also told the other man, quote, "You white people, you mess with my people," he said. Now, police said Torres was intoxicated during that incident. A dog belonging to someone Torres knows was taken to the Stratford Animal Control and later released to its owner. Now, Torres was ordered held on a $500,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court on March 9th. In other news, West Reading firefighters put out a large structure fire in Georgetown on Saturday. Now, that fire, which was reported around 10 a.m. February 24th, was in a multi-family apartment complex at 56 Portland Avenue. Now, one resident of the home who had minor burns and smoke inhalation was sent to Danbury Hospital. Members of all three Reading volunteer fire departments, plus members of Wilton, Weston, Bethel, and Ridgefield fire departments, were all called to the scene. Now, the American Red Cross was also called to see if displaced families needed help. No word yet on the cause of that fire. And Wilton police have arrested a second suspect in the October 18th larceny of more than $21,000 worth of jewelry from Campus Jewelers at 5 River Road. 32-year-old Erica Santa was arrested February 14th by the New York Police Department and members of the Nassau County Police Department near her home in Jamaica, New York, and she was charged as a fugitive from justice on a warrant that had been obtained by the Wilton Police Department for her involvement in that case. Now, after waiving extradition, Santa was turned over to Wilton detectives on February 23rd and was charged with first-degree larceny and conspiracy to commit first-degree larceny. She was released on a $100,000 bond and will appear in court on March 5th. Now, in late January, the 32-year-old suspect's mother, Yolanda Santa, who's 56 years old from Ridgewood, New York, was also arrested and charged with first-degree larceny and conspiracy to commit. Now, the case involved 3 women and 1 man. Police said the 3 women distracted the 2 salespersons while the man stole jewelry from behind the counter and put it in a brown paper shopping bag he was carrying. The suspects then purchased an item with cash, then all 4 left the store with that stolen jewelry, totaling over $21,000. Now, none of that jewelry has since been recovered. And in other news, a New York woman pleaded guilty last Thursday to 1 count of wire fraud arising from an embezzlement scheme resulting in the alleged theft of over $1 million from BMW of Darien. 50-year-old Vanessa Vence Small of New Windsor, New York, waived her right to be indicted and pleaded guilty before U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Alker-Meyer in New Haven to 1 count of wire fraud arising from an embezzlement scheme. Now, Vence Small was operating as the controller at the time of the alleged embezzlement scheme. Now, this was announced by John H. Durham, United States Attorney for the District of Connecticut, on Thursday. According to court documents and statements made in court, Vence Small was the controller of Felix Kalari, Inc., doing business as Continental BMW of Darien, an auto dealership. Now, from October 2014 to June 2017, Vence Small allegedly made 65 unauthorized electronic funds totaling over $904,000 from the dealership's bank account to her personal American Express account. Now, Vence Small also issued and signed 28 checks drawn on the dealership's bank account in the total of more than $207,000 to pay various third parties, including credit card companies, contractors who performed work at her home, and a different dealership from which she allegedly purchased a car. She also allegedly incurred on companies' accounts an additional $31,000 in unauthorized credit card charges and reimbursements. Now, Judge Meyer scheduled sentencing for May 24th, at which time Vence Small faces a maximum term of imprisonment of 20 years and a fine of up to $2.3 million and an order of full restitution. And New Canaan police served an arrest warrant to 19-year-old Vashani Wheeler in Norwalk Court for 11 counts of burglary, as well as multiple counts of ID theft and payment credit card theft that took place in July of 2017. Now, on Thursday, February 22nd, New Canaan police served a warrant to Wheeler, who's currently incarcerated for several thefts from motor vehicles during the overnight hours of July 4th. At that time, DNA samples were submitted to the state lab. And for other evidence, New Canaan police investigators went to a mobile station in Bridgeport to obtain video surveillance where Wheeler allegedly used stolen credit cards to purchase items at that gas station. Now, New Canaan investigators were able to obtain an arrest warrant for 11 counts of third-degree burglary, 4 counts of ID theft, and 4 counts of payment credit card theft. The judge set his bond at $300,000, but no court date has yet been given. All right, taking a turn now, let's throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at your forecast. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. We're looking at some clearing skies heading our way after a weekend filled with rain. Not as cool out either. Temperatures back up into the low 50s, and we should see clouds make way for the sun by the late afternoon. Clear skies overnight, and temperatures right around 32 degrees. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow from dawn until dusk. Temperatures again right around 51 degrees, a light breeze of 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy overnight, temperatures at 34 degrees. And then Wednesday, mild with periods of sun and clouds throughout the day. Temperatures mid to high 50s. And then partly cloudy overnight. We will see some rain heading our way for the back half of the week. Temperatures starting to cool. We could possibly be seeing a little bit of snow this weekend, but we'll have more on that as the week goes on. That'll do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break, come back. Donald Lang will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news after this.
Get a fresh start to the new year by shaking up your meal routine. Walter Stewart's Market is your local source for a delicious selection of fresh and convenient salad shakers, like Southwest salad with chicken, Cobb with organic chicken, Power Vegan with fruit and quinoa, Greek salad with tabbouleh, and grilled shrimp with hominy. Grab one from our salad case or order from our deli today. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Our Ram trucks get the job done with unparalleled style and performance. Call, click, or stop in to find the new Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck that you've been looking for. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands right now at the President's Day event and Ram Truck Month. Ends February 28th.
At Galt, we always put you first. As your full-service home heating partner, we provide expert delivery, installation, and maintenance for all your heating needs with knowledgeable, friendly professionals that give you peace of mind 24/7. Galt Family Companies, you first since 1863.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to myorthoct.com, like them on Facebook.
Welcome back to this February 26th edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Ang. Don.
Well, Kate, you know, you don't see a lot about a certain ocean liner company anymore, and there's a reason for it, because we go back first to 1914. That is HMHS Britannic, the sister ship to RMS Titanic. It was launched today at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast. Now, Britannic, less well known than Titanic, but had a much longer career, much longer. In fact, after being laid up in port at the outbreak of World War I, Britannic was converted to a hospital ship, as you see there, and well, she sank less than a year later. Now, after the war, White Star Lines was awarded SS Bismarck, the flagship of the German ocean lining industry. As compensation, Bismarck was renamed Majestic and operated by White Star Lines. She later sank while tied to a pier in port, of all things. It's no wonder White Star doesn't exist anymore. To 1919 now. In fact, 1919 and 1929, 2 national parks preserved exactly 10 years apart. 1919, Grand Canyon National Park established. Grand Teton National Park was established in 1929. Now, Grand Canyon is larger, better known, and more visited, but Grand Teton, essentially next door to Yellowstone, incorporates about 400 square miles of mountains and scenic lakes. Oh, and about the name. Grand Teton was named by French fur traders, and if you showed a 13-year-old boy a photo of a couple of mountains and asked what they reminded him of, and if that 13-year-old boy spoke French, well, he might say Grand Tetons. Believe it or not, that's what it means. To 1993 now. A terrorist bomb explodes in a parking garage underneath the World Trade Center in New York City, leaving a crater 60 feet wide, causing the collapse of several steel-reinforced concrete floors. 6 people died, about 1,000 injured. The terrorist plot intended to collapse one building into the other. 50,000 people in the World Trade Center when that bomb went off. Finally, now we go to 2012, really the beginning of a social movement. You're looking at Trayvon Martin buying Skittles and juice just a few minutes before he would be shot and killed by Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman. Police found Martin dead of a gunshot wound. Zimmerman had injuries to his face and head, claimed self-defense, and initially was not charged. After a public outrage, he was later charged with second-degree murder, though he was acquitted of those charges. That is your look back in history for today, February 26, and I'm Donald Eng.
Thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, the town of Stratford is challenging a federal court verdict that gave a former Stratford police detective a $2.5 million judgment last year. Town council members met in executive session during the council's February 13th meeting to talk about the town's legal challenge from William Jennings. Well, last September, an 8-person jury in the U.S. District Court in New Haven awarded Jennings a $2.5 million verdict. Now, Jennings, who worked for the police department for 24 years as a narcotics detective, was awarded $1 million for compensatory damages and $1.5 million in punitive damages. Now, Jennings' attorney, John R. Williams of New Haven, said after the verdict that the jury ruled that the town had constructively discharged Detective Jennings and that all of its actions were unlawful retaliation for his exercise of protected free speech rights. Now, town attorney Chris Hodgson said Tuesday that the town's appeal is in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in New York City. Hodgson declined to talk specifically about the appeal as it's a pending legal matter, but the next appearance for both sides is at the end of March. And a bus has been hired to take concerned New Canaan residents and business people to a public hearing in Stamford on Tuesday to voice opposition to proposed reductions in rail service on the New Canaan branch. Now, that bus will leave from New Canaan Elm Street train station at 4:15 p.m. on Tuesday, February 27th, and that hearing begins at 5. Now, New Canaan Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Tucker Murphy is asking people interested in taking the bus to email her so an additional bus can be hired if necessary. You can get in touch with her, tucker@newcananchamber.com. Now, that bus is being sponsored by Elm Restaurant. Connecticut Department of Transportation is conducting 7 public hearings to gather input on proposed rail fare increases and service reductions. And the one closest to New Canaan is on Tuesday from 5 to 8 p.m. at the University of Connecticut Stamford Campus Auditorium. And in other news, with recent events heightening focus on student safety, Monroe residents can take heart knowing that Monroe School District is the safest in the state, at least according to one data compiler. Now, Niche.com used information from the U.S. Department of Education, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, parent reviews, and other data and compiling its list of safest school districts for 2018, on which Monroe sits at the very top. Now, Assistant School Superintendent Dr. Jack Zamery, who will be assuming that post July 1st, spoke about Niche.com's ranking and said former school superintendent James Augustine deserves credit for that latest safety rating. Now, to compile that ranking, Niche.com states 50% was based on parent and student surveys on health and safety. Student absenteeism, suspensions, and expulsions were also factored into those rankings, as well as a percentage of students referred to law enforcement and school-related arrests. Now, Zamery said that entrances at each of Monroe's schools have hardened entrances, with 2 buzz-ins, one at the first entrance and another at a second set of doors after that person walks through a controlled space. Now, the district's video camera system is another significant safety piece, according to Zamery. He says that helps provide visual command, both digital and glass. Now, there's a lot more on that story at monroecourier.com. And in other news, Eversource currently is conducting aerial inspections of high-voltage electrical equipment on rights-of-way throughout Connecticut. Now, this semi-annual inspection is an important part of the company's ongoing commitment, they say, to providing reliable electric service. Now, the work involves the use of a helicopter equipped with heat-sensing infrared scanning technology, which can detect potential equipment issues before they occur. Now, those aerial inspections started last week and will continue now through February 28th. Weather permitting, flights take place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. All right, let's throw it over to Frank Granito now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
All right, Kate, you mentioned Super Saturday, and we'll get to that with plenty to cover there. But let's go back to Thursday night last week. It was our first FCX championship matchup. Girls basketball, #1 Trumbull, #2 Wilton, and the Eagles going on to win their second consecutive conference championship. 60-49, they outlast the Wilton Warriors. Julie Keckler named the tournament MVP, and the senior captain was absolutely stellar throughout the 3 rounds of play. She finished the game with 13 points to lead all of Trumbull. The game high scorer was Claire Gulbin for Wilton, who had 27 points, but not enough as Trumbull rolls to the conference championship. Let's look at the highlights from Thursday night. Defending conference champion Trumbull Eagles taking on the second-ranked Wilton Warriors. And Kevin, we talked about it earlier today. We both agree the 2 best teams in the conference are going to settle it tonight in Fairfield.
It's like a 3-2 actually.
Lynch down to the corner as Kelly O'Leary spots up the triple. Oh, that was pretty.
That's how it's done.
That was Keckler who had the steal, and now she's open for 3. Yes!
Bang!
Keckler's got the rebound and quickly pushing it up ahead. Pocket pass to Lynch. The lay-in good.
Timeout.
Oh, yeah.
Good look there by Goldman. That's her game. She likes to do a little crossover, create some space, and try and hit a 3.
Lynch hit the floor. McGuire's open outside. This one just a 2. Her foot was on the line. Here's another reason they're back in the championship game. The play of these freshmen like Cassie Barbado, Ali Palmieri, and the junior Megan Lesko rattling home the triple. Goldman had the rebound, sent it to Sweeney, gets it right back. We'll see how quickly they look to work. Steps into a 3 of her own, rattles it home.
Gets the crowd back into it too.
Corner 3 from McGuire. Palmieri open for 3. Good!
Oh, look at the speed from Keckler.
Barbados open up top. She wants in on the party. Yes! Good. Barbado, 15 feet out. Got it.
The freshmen are feeling it right now.
And the lead is 15.
Defense from Keckler.
Oh! McGuire came over that time with a big block.
Woo! A little stare down after that too.
55-44. Goldman with a deep 3. Good!
Finally gets one to go. Trumbull Eagles, unbelievable season.
The clock will strike 0. And for the 4th time in school history, and the 2nd year in a row, they remain atop the conference, 60-49 the final. So congratulations to Trumbull. They'll be the #3 seed heading into the Class Double-L tournament. Of course, last year they were the runner-up in the state championship. We'll see if 2018 fares differently. Now let's jump ahead to a full Saturday of FCAC playoffs. 7 games on the docket. Let's start with the boys hockey quarterfinals. Big rivalry game. #3 Darien, #6 New Canaan in the FCAC quarterfinals. And despite a tremendous showing by the Rams, it was not enough to knock off the Blue Wave. 3rd time this year, Darien beats New Canaan 5-2 the final. Parker McLean, difference maker in that one with 2 goals. The afternoon matchup in boys hockey, you had Fairfield and Staples, the 4-5 game. Sawyer Caseglia leading the way for the Fairfield co-op. 2 goals and an assist. Sam Shepard also had 2 points. Fairfield rolls 4-2. They will take on Greenwich on Wednesday night, and you will see Darien and Ridgefield. In boys basketball, 4 quarterfinal games from Fairfield Ward. First up, it was number 3 Danbury, number 6 Bridgeport Central. No issues for the Hatters here. They cruise to an 83-58 victory. Jordan Brown leading all scorers with 23 points in that one. Not as much offense in our second game of the afternoon. Trinity Catholic and Stanford bringing the city rivalry to the postseason, 42-39. The number 2 ranked Crusaders just holding on against the Black Knights. Dimitri Moyes going for 15 points. Contavio Dutrail, 11. Trumbull and Ward, the 4-5 matchup, and it was not good to be at home for the Mustangs. They fall 65-56 despite 26 points from Sean Conway. But it was Timon Williams with 28 who was the game high scorer. And then maybe the upset of the postseason, number 1 Ridgefield falling against number 8 Norwalk, 59-50. Tyreek Langley, 28 points, leading the Bears past the defending conference champions. So tomorrow night we will see the boys basketball semifinals. First up, Trinity Catholic and Danbury. That game at 6 o'clock, followed by Norwalk and Trumbull. And finally on Saturday, it started around 9 o'clock at night from the Darien Ice House, but that didn't stop the ladies from putting on a show. Greenwich winning their second consecutive FCAC championship. They defeat the New Canaan Rams 2-1. Jen Kelly with a goal and an assist. Emma Wingrove also scoring the game winner. And the tournament MVP, Jesse Aslan, made 26 saves for the Cardinals. They'll be the number 1 team heading into the state tournament. They've got a first-round bye and are looking now to add that ever-elusive first-ever program state championship. Kevin and I will break everything down at 2 o'clock this afternoon on Nutmeg Sports. I'm going to send it back over to Kate before I have any breath left to give.
It's a lot. I'm surprised you had any breath left after Saturday, too. All right, well, we are going to step out for a break, come back, and recap some of the top stories we're following today after this.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. A man accused of threatening another man with a rifle outside of a Barnum Avenue liquor store was arrested on Saturday by Stratford police. 45-year-old Brian Torres was charged with first-degree threatening, first-degree reckless endangerment, criminal possession of a firearm, and possession of weapons in a motor vehicle, among other charges. Now, Stratford officers responded just after noon Saturday to Barnum Discount Liquors for a report of a Hispanic man in the parking lot carrying a rifle and making threats. Now, police said Torres and another man were engaged in an argument. Police said Torres punched that other man before going to his vehicle, pulling out an unloaded .22 caliber rifle, pointing it at the other man, and threatened to, quote, blow his head off. Now, police said that Torres told the other man, "You white people, you mess with my people." Now, police said Torres was intoxicated during that incident. A dog belonging to someone Torres knows was taken to Stratford Animal Control and later released to its owner. Now, Torres was ordered held on a $500,000 bond and is scheduled to appear on March 9th in Bridgeport Superior Court. And West Reading firefighters put out a large structure fire in Georgetown on Saturday. Now, that fire, which was reported around 10 a.m. February 24th, was in a multi-family apartment complex at 56 Portland Avenue. Now, one resident of that home who had minor burns and smoke inhalation was sent to Danbury Hospital. Members of all 3 Reading volunteer fire departments, plus members of Wilton, Weston, Bethel, and Ridgefield fire departments were all called to the scene. The American Red Cross was also called to see if any displaced families needed help. No word yet on the cause of that fire. And in other news, Wilton police have arrested a second suspect in the October 18th larceny of more than $21,000 worth of jewelry from Campus Jewelers at 5 River Road. 32-year-old Erica Santa was arrested February 14th by New York police and members of the Nassau County Police Department near her home in Jamaica, New York, and charged as a fugitive from justice on a warrant that had been obtained by the Wilton Police Department for her involvement in that case. Now, after waiving extradition, Santa was turned over to Wilton detectives on February 23rd and charged with first-degree larceny and conspiracy to commit larceny. Now, she was released on a $100,000 bond and will appear in court March 5th. In late January, the 32-year-old suspect's mother, 56-year-old Yolanda Santa of Ridgewood, New York, was also arrested and charged with first-degree larceny and conspiracy to commit larceny. Now, that case involved 3 women and 1 man. Police said the 3 women distracted the 2 salespersons while that man stole jewelry from behind the counter and put it in a brown paper shopping bag he was carrying. The suspects then allegedly purchased an item with cash. Then all 4 left the store with that stolen jewelry, totaling over $21,000. Now, none of that jewelry has since been recovered. And a New York woman pleaded guilty last Thursday to 1 count of wire fraud arising from an embezzlement scheme resulting in the alleged theft of over $1 million from BMW of Darien. 50-year-old Vanessa Vence Small of New Windsor, New York, waived her right to be indicted and pleaded guilty before U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Alker-Meyer in New Haven to 1 count of wire fraud resulting from that embezzlement scheme. Now, Vence Small was operating as the controller at the time of that alleged scheme. Now, this was announced by John H. Durham, United States Attorney for the District of Connecticut, last week. According to court documents and statements made in court, Vence Small was the controller of Felix F. Kalari, Inc., that was doing business as Continental BMW of Darien, an auto dealership. Well, from October 2014 to June 2017, Vence Small allegedly made 65 unauthorized electronic fund transfers, totaling over $904,000 from the dealership's bank account to her personal American Express account. Now, Vence Small was also issued and signed 28 checks drawn on the dealership's bank account in the total amount of $207,000 to pay various third parties, including credit card companies, contractors who performed work at her home, and a different dealership where she allegedly purchased a car. She also incurred on company accounts an additional $31,000 in unauthorized credit card charges and reimbursements. Now, Judge Meyer has scheduled sentencing for May 24th, at which time Vence Small faces a maximum term of imprisonment of 20 years, a fine of up to $2.3 million, and an order of full restitution. All right, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for one final look at your forecast. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. And again, a couple of days of sunshine heading our way. Skies should start to clear up by this afternoon. Temperatures right around 50 degrees, and we'll see clear skies overnight with a low of 32. Much of the same tomorrow, but sunny from dawn until dusk, and temperatures right around 50 to 52. Partly cloudy skies overnight. Wednesday, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds and a little bit of increasing cloud cover later on. Temperatures around 55, a low of 39 overnight. Possibly some rain later this week, maybe some snow this weekend, but we'll have more on that down the stretch. And make sure you tune in at 2 o'clock. Nutmeg Sports will get you caught up on everything from Super Saturday and get you ready for this week's semifinal games in boys basketball and boys hockey. Kate, let's send it back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. As Frank said, Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2 o'clock. We will see you tomorrow with the latest local news and more. Have a great day.